All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's feature presentation. We have two fellow buy and hold investors, Mr. Brian Higgins and Alex Moses. And RJ and I were just talking about these guys. They're very similar to what we do. You know, they're business partners and they're in the buy and hold space. They're in the raising capital space to buy affordable housing and cash flow real estate. So we got a lot in common with these guys. And we are going to be breaking down some really, I mean, this is genuinely getting to know these guys and talking strategy, systems, and everything real estate related. So, Alex, Brian, how are you guys today?
Fantastic.
Doing great. How are you,
What
sir?
market? So, what market are you guys in?
Go ahead, buddy. We're in Oklahoma City, so we buy just in the greater Oklahoma City area. We have never ventured out. We haven't had a need to yet. Eventually we might, but for now, Oklahoma is kind of interesting because there's only two major markets. It's Oklahoma City is obviously the biggest one. There's about 1.3, 1.4 million people. And Tulsa is about half that size, maybe a little bit more. And it's growing. Tulsa is like the hip, up and coming. It's the little brother, though, to Oklahoma City. And that's how it feels. And their market is extremely odd, specifically for what we do on the investment side, wholesaling.
Yeah.
It's very weird, and everybody we've ever met that ventured into that market felt the same way. So we've always been in Oklahoma City and haven't had a need to. We've found plenty of deals here, and eventually we might venture that way. But for now,
OKC. Well, I mean, if you're able to make money and do deals in your backyard, why venture out if it's not broke? Come fix it. So, Alex, why don't you kind of give us the rundown on your business and kind of your different roles as business partners, and then we can kind of piggyback on that with what RJ and I do.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll let Brian kind of talk about what he does because he does a lot that I don't do. But what I do in the business, I am looking for deals, working with wholesalers. We just started our marketing campaign, so up until this point, we haven't used any marketing. I think we spent maybe $1,000 on marketing last year, which got us a deal. And we didn't continue to run with that because, we have so many wholesalers. We worked with, was it 33, Brian, last year?
Yeah.
We bought properties from 33 wholesalers. We bought about 115 to 120 deals. So it's really just constantly, I would say on average, I get about 30 deals sent to me a week. I like to also think that we get those deals first because we're also the easiest to work with, right? So I'm running comps. We buy a lot of sight unseen. So, Brian's kind of taught me how to look at the photos, right? And then kind of evaluate a rehab, but still run it by him because he does manage the rehab. But if I'm unsure, right? So if I get a deal, I run the comps on it and I'm looking at the photos. Whenever I'm evaluating the rehab, what I'm going to do is on the rehab, I'm going to also put a miscellaneous. So if there's something I can't tell, right? So if the wholesaler tells me, hey, the HVAC is about 9 or 10 years old, it's in working condition, I'm going to go ahead and implement and go ahead and calculate another $5,000 or $6,000 for the HVAC. So pretty much in my day, I'm running comps, I'm running numbers, and I'm either deciding if we're going to buy it or if we're going to sell to our out-of-state investors. So we work with about maybe 10 to 12 out-of-state investors. So we kind of offer a product called, I think we made this up, maybe we didn't. It's called Burnkey. So instead of it being a turnkey retail deal, we're offering a little bit of equity, anywhere from like 10 to 20% equity. So just networking, raising private money as well. Last year, we raised about anywhere from $7 to $9 million in private money. And that really, I want to give another shout out to Jay Connor. And Jay Connor is in the same mastermind as us. He didn't tell us anything we didn't know, right? But just having that presentation and then finding out that his rates are a lot lower than ours, right? Up until January of last year, we were getting charged 4 and 10 and 4 points, 10% interest. We were okay with that because it made sense. And then also, if they're giving you 100% of the money, why complain? Then fast forward to March or April, whenever Jay did his presentation and he's telling us that he's got 49 investors on a waiting list and he's getting charged 8%. So we've definitely done some different things. We've done some Zoom calls to raise private money, but essentially my role is finding the deal, so acquiring and then also dispo, right? And then also raising private money.
How about you, Brian?
Yeah, I pretty much manage the other side of the business as far as managing rehabs, keeping track. We both keep track of making sure closing out. We have a transaction coordinator, but she's been doing so much other stuff lately that it has been hard to keep up with. It's been better. She's able to do that right now, but we do from the managing the rehab side to moving, getting tenants in place, because we offer a burn key program. Ours is a little bit different. We didn't always used to lease the properties for them. We did with some of the investors. Some of them we turned over to the property manager of their choice, things like that. So we lately have been doing that for them. So we've been occupying the properties, getting them through. We do a lot of Section 8. So we've been doing inspections and jumping through all those hoops, going through that process. So we would do all that, managing inspections, the rehab, the financing, the financials, the just day-to-day kind of operations, if you will. That's mostly what I do.
I like it. Let me ask you this. So, I mean, you guys did like over 100 deals last year. How many of those did you keep and how many of those did you sell?
Yeah. So go ahead, Brad.
Kept probably 90 and we sold the rest. I think we sold about 25 or 30. I didn't actually look at our final numbers. We had a ton that closed right at the end of the year. And that's the reason I didn't actually track those last few. We had a push for some investors needed to invest. So they needed to deploy some capital for tax reasons before the 31st. And so we sold quite a few that last week. Shout out Casey.
Casey from CG.
So it was interesting, but it was good. So we sold about 25 or 30 at the end of the year. And we plan on keeping the majority. We sold some properties as we went. As you know, you can get cash tight often. I mean, if anybody's done this long enough, and if you try to do it at a high level at any type of speed at all, you have this variation where your bank account is just constantly looks like someone on their deathbed, about to stroke out. And so we sold properties here and there along the way, but we were trying to buy 100 last year for ourselves. And we could have, but timing with COVID, when that hit, delaying funding, financing, bank refis, appraisers not wanting to go in properties, banks slow playing, getting busy with PPP, not knowing what to do. Obviously, being the crazy election year that it was, there was a lot of questions and a lot of delays there. So that didn't help having a hold. So that slowed us up. We honestly could have bought all 120. We don't put something in contract unless we're willing to close on it. That's always been a rule of ours, unless we're willing to keep it. And we always put stuff in contract with a plan to keep it. And we may offload some here and there for extra cash because capital is never a bad thing. Cash is king. And but we are in this for the long haul. We have about 160 properties between the both of us, and still plan to buy more. We plan to buy at least 30 or 40 this year, and we'll still sell. We plan to sell 100 at least. So
we want more. We want more than 30 or 40. But yeah.
I like it, and that's something that we're big advocates of. And I'll let RJ kind of talk about our buy and hold business. But, that's the thing we love about building a portfolio of single family assets. One of the advantages is if you need to pair a couple off to raise capital, as you guys know, things get tight sometimes, not everything is, candy canes out there. And sometimes you got to raise capital, and you can't do that when you have a multi-family building. We're not opposed to multifamily, but we do like having options and having different exit strategies. So RJ, maybe you can fill these guys in on kind of what we're up to for the buy and hold space. You might be on mute, RJ. Not sure. So I think RJ's microphone might be a little bit spotty here, but we're doing the same exact thing. I find it interesting. I can't believe you guys bought 90 buy and holds last year and didn't do any marketing at all. That in of itself
is. Hear me?
There you go. There's RJ.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Thanks. So, hey guys, thanks for joining us on this live. I got you guys on IG Live and also TikTok Live. And so a lot of the questions that we get is how are you finding these deals? And it's impressive how many houses you bought with a very, very low marketing budget, by, I think it's like referrals with realtors. And, can you touch on that real quick? And then I'll let you guys know how we're acquiring our deals as well.
Explain the market, Alex. Alex will explain.
Yeah. So I like to think it's different, right? Because I didn't know there was any other way. I didn't realize before CG that people are spending thousands of dollars on marketing because we don't do that, right? So what me and Brian have been introduced to in the last couple of years is I think our market in Oklahoma City is just way different than most markets, right? So I mean, 33 wholesalers is what we've worked with last year, right? We've added like probably 5 new ones this year. And the deals, it's competitive, but everyone just works together, man, right? So, and me and Brian like to think we're some of the easiest buyers to work with because one, we will never not close, ever. In fact, I don't think we've never not closed,
Mhm.
right? So even if we put something in contract and we realize later on, oh crap, we're gonna have like $5,000 to $10,000 tied up. We don't want to do that. We'll still close on it. So wholesalers see us as some of the easiest buyers in the market to work with. Therefore, we're getting deals from every wholesaler, right? So, and I network, and Brian does too, with a lot of wholesalers, and it's not. I don't know. It's just not really competitive, right? I mean, I'm sure there's those people out there, but everyone works together, and we kind of get those deals first.
Do you
So
train? Do
that
you train your wholesalers? Like how? Because I know that there's a lot of wholesalers out there that are new.
yeah,
Your deals are a little bit overpriced. Um,
right.
how do you guys get them to actually get you good deals? You know?
Right. So, I mean, there are a lot of new wholesalers, right? And they ask me my criteria, and I'm telling them I will not go a dollar over this, right? So they're constantly looking for those types of deals. So I don't know, man. Everyone is very helpful, and we have a group of wholesalers. In fact, Jack Wan and Nick Mitchell, two of my good friends, we work out every single morning. They actually coach and train wholesalers for free, right? And with doing so, these people they'll 50-50 deals, and they'll kind of work under Jack and Nick for some time, right? So a lot of the training is really it's well spent here, and we all just work together. We're a community, man. We're that southern hospitable can't even say the word, hospitable state. Can't even say it, man.
Well, hey, you
But
don't need to be able to speak it to do it.
yeah,
So, I think we all know
hey,
what's
let me say it real quick. Southern hospitable. So everyone, we kind of carry that culture of working together. It's very hospitable. There we go.
Our, our
Yeah,
market's unique. Our market's unique, and a lot of the wholesalers know each other. We go to the same gym every morning. There's probably like 25 of us that go to the same gym every morning, so we see each other regularly, constantly talking about deals that come up. We'll be talking with someone in between. It feels like almost in between sets. It's not that type of gym. It's a boot camp type of gym, and they'll be like, "Hey, I got
right,
deal on the Southwest side. Are you interested?" We're like, "Yeah, get with me after class, and we want to look at these numbers for sure." And
right,
they all work. I mean, like I said, they all work together. So many people. I mean, people are constantly JVing on stuff.
Yeah.
They're asking questions, and it's competitive. There are lots of people that buy lots of homes in our market. There are plenty of landlords that own hundreds of homes, but everybody's criteria is different. A lot of people, I feel like, and I think people get caught up in how it used to be, and that's one of the things to adjust for times. And we talk about this too. We'll talk about this later about inflation changing and values of homes and all those things changing. I know people like, man, I'll never pay over this in this neighborhood. But like they don't realize, and me and Alex have had this conversation. There's one neighborhood in particular we argue about all the time because there is one company changing comps in this particular neighborhood, buying it, and he's not right. But now I'm kidding. But we joke about it all the time. But it's just one of those things. Like the prices are eventually you have to. I used to tell him I'll never pay more than 50 in that neighborhood, like ever. But we just bought one for 60 today, sold it for 75. So it's not. We bought another one for 50 and sold it for 75. And so it's one of those things that it's not that I'm opposed to it, they'll sell, but it's that changing or being open to adjust as time changes and still running your numbers, still making sure your comps, your appraisals are going to be what they need to be, of course, because we don't want to have cash out. If we can avoid it, we don't want to have any. Most of our banks are cashing out at 80%. There are some that are doing 75%, and some people get stuck in that mindset too. I mean, I was talking with some guys this morning that they, in their minds, like they want to be on less than 75%. So if they're all their numbers, I feel like they look at a deal based on that criteria. So they may sell a deal that doesn't work for them, but it works for us. It's one of those things that mindset kind of changes, I think. And everybody here seems to work together except for the few people that we know, and everybody knows the ones that don't. Just like anything, So
as far as mindset, something that you didn't say, but I guarantee you guys are of this mindset, and that's why so many wholesalers, like doing business with you, is more than likely you don't care what a wholesaler is making on a deal. That's a big thing. That'll keep people small. When you're trying to get out there and buy houses from wholesalers and whatnot, if you're constantly nickel and diming a wholesaler, especially if you want to go back to the wholesaler after you see what they're making and say, oh, you're making X amount on this. I feel that's too much. I want to beat you up on the price. That's going to lose you business. See, would you guys agree?
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Yeah, there's a real estate etiquette, you know what I mean, that you have to honor in this game. And people will remember that. If you call people out wholesalers on the fee, they're not going to want to sell to you or do business
No.
with you.
We don't.
Brian makes his joke. He's all like, I don't care if they make 100,000, right?
I'm like, just
So
they got it in contract for that cheap. I'm in awe, like legitimate awe. If you make 50 grand on a deal, I'm like, I don't even know how you started that conversation with that seller. I'm just like, you're a wizard. I'm in awe. So yeah, 100%.
But to summarize really quick, we just started. We're gonna start wholesaling more seriously now. So we actually hired 2 acquisitions managers. So I think they're in the office with us right now. So
It does over here, right here.
Awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
So we're on that approach now. Like we're wanting to network with a lot more realtors, a lot more wholesalers, because we've always gone direct to seller, and to allow us to get deals that because everyone else is going after direct to seller, right? And there's that market of off market pocket listings that realtors might get. I'm with you guys. I agree. You can't dip and look at somebody's pockets for deals. Like they're doing their best to get you. And if you just got to tell them, this doesn't fit my model, and this is why. And if you ever get deals, just like Alex was saying, that fit that model, we'll close.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's great. We used to do the turnkey business, and we did a number of transactions from I think 2013 to like 18, and then we started focusing on our own buy and hold portfolio, because we were always stuck in that 60 to 80 mark. Now we're at 130, so we're catching up to you guys. But we have 3 new markets, and we're excited about them. Ohio it's a great market, just like Oklahoma, where you guys are. It's very landlord friendly, and the interest rates are still low, and we can execute what we do best.
Capitalize while we can.
Capitalize. You know what we say is we got to make hay while the sun is shining, right?
I love it.
So we're going to put a bow on this, and we intend to, talk to you guys offline and whatnot. And I'm grateful to meet you guys. Just met you at the last CG meeting, and none of us are going anywhere. We're going to know each other for a long time, and I'm looking forward to adding as much value and exchanging value. But what advice would you give? A lot of RJ's followers, people who follow RJ on TikTok and Instagram and whatnot, they're always asking the same question, right, RJ?
Yeah.
They want to know how to get started. So what advice would you give to somebody who's brand new, who's wanting to get started?
I would say, especially when it comes to wholesaling, going back to real estate etiquette, we talked about this on the Steve Real Estate Disruptors, but your reputation is everything in this game, right? So especially when it comes to wholesaling, if you develop a reputation where your deals are not good, right, from the get-go, you're going to have investors not even open up your email. So make sure you're finding out exactly what a quote unquote good deal is per that market, and find those deals, right? And then also for the new person who doesn't know anything, I would say be a person of value so you can be valued, right? So I'm 29 now, but at 25, I was doing nothing with my life. I was looking for a mentor like Brian. He hates it when I call him that, but I was, providing value, finding deals for him off market, working for free, right? So working for free really is a good thing. Investors love that. So be a person of value so you can be valued.
Amen, brother. Then we preach that too, man. You got to get out there and add as much value as you possibly can. Expect nothing in return except for the knowledge and the opportunity to learn and grow. What about you, Brian?
And I'd say the same thing. Connect with the local people that are doing it. Most people, like in our market, we know a lot of the major wholesalers in town, a lot of the investors. That go to your local REITs, get connected with people, and make those connections. Help out where you can. You can be a person of value in a whole bunch of different ways. Specifically, I mean, if you're out and about and looking and you're getting active in real estate, you can look for deals for people. That's how we met in such a weird way. We met at getting our real estate license. He was getting it to be a realtor for investors. I was getting it to save money on transactions. And he ended up just finding deals. I didn't even know what house wholesaling was at the time. I had no idea. Even like a year deep in talking with him, he's bringing me these off-market deals. And I didn't, honestly, it was new to me. But by doing that, we ended up getting connected, and it was life-changing, honestly, for both of us just going forward. And he was just trying to find deals, make a little bit of money on the side. And he was finding deals from other people like, hey, man, do you mind if I add a fee? And it just kind of started that way. And he learned the real estate game that way. So we both did. I mean, values on homes, running comps, running numbers. Find someone you trust that is good at this, and ask them. They'll help you. But not everybody will, but there are plenty of people out there that will help you. It's hard because we all are busy. but there are plenty of people out there that will help you learn just some basics about that, make sure your numbers are good, and they'll honestly do it so they can get a deal. As weird as this sounds, if you help someone, there's a good chance that down the road that could come back and help you out significantly down the road. You may find a deal that you both make money on, you JV together, whatever, you bring a deal to them, they bring a deal to you. You may end up being a big buyer, you may end up being a big wholesaler, and it could be a really good connection. I think for people like us that are listening too, it's nice to keep that. Alex has made some really good connections with people that have reached out to him to ask questions, and he answered their questions. And we got deals. We got a deal last week from a young kid who's starting, or 2 weeks ago from a young kid that's starting. And Alex, I've been talking with him for 6 months, just periodically through Facebook chat, just little things that we end up getting a deal. Everybody makes money, and so it's one of those things that know your worth, but also value other people's time, and I think you really can make some really good, long lasting connections.
And I'm going to send it over to you, RJ. We're going to put a bow on this thing, but you said something that is valid. And I love your guys' energy, and I love your guys' dynamic. And, I've heard RJ say on a video before, it's like, hey, we're all busy. We all got stuff to do, but it doesn't mean it's okay to be an asshole. Right?
Right.
Be a jerk to somebody. There's a certain etiquette, a way of being. So what if somebody's just getting started and they're new, right? Take time, talk to them for 5 minutes. Don't be too big for your britches, right? And that's the ego, and I'm very aware of that. I've actually grown personally quite a bit over the years, and I look at kind of sometimes the way I acted towards other people in the business years ago, and I just cringe because I'm like, why was I such a jerk? Like, who am I, right? I'm nobody. So with that being said, RJ, bring us home. What advice do you have for somebody who might just be getting started? And by the way, let me plug these guys. Brian Higgins, Alex Moses, if you're around the Oklahoma City market, hit these guys up. What's the best way to contact you guys? Where can people find you?
I feel like everyone knows where to find me. Alex Moses, you can search me up on Facebook. We work out a gym, Fit Camp 180. There's about 10 to 15 wholesalers, about 25 investors. We work out together. It's in Edmond, Oklahoma. You guys can join us. We wake up at 4 a.m. We work out at 5 a.m. every single day.
Oh,
I like it. I like it. RJ.
What about you, Brian? Are you on social, or are you kind of a private guy?
Facebook, man, that's about the gist of it for me. And I usually get tagged by my wife or my partner, Alex. And that's about the gist of my social media. I think Alex made an Insta for me like 8 months ago. It has no posts, like 0. I didn't even know I had it. So it's terrible. I need to be better about that.
So it sounds like you guys have the network down, right? So invest in your network and take some time. Like what Alex and Brian have done is they've invested in people in their local market. And now they have a fleet of people finding houses every day. It's impressive. And they only spend about $1,000 right now on marketing. And I know they're going to ramp it up with some other unique strategies, but it's impressive that what you guys done. And that's one takeaway I'm getting out of this call is like, when you are talking to wholesalers, be respectful. They're new. All they're trying to do is add value, but it's like you're planting seeds in them, right? And eventually you guys can reap what you sow. You're going to have deals that are going to come through your pipeline that's going to make sense. And then that creates lifelong relationships. We're a big relationship company here, and we appreciate you guys. We can get into more of some strategies at a different time. But I know it's Monday. We're doing deals. Alex, you're probably getting ready to go close a deal or something. Brian's probably analyzing deals right now. So we appreciate your guys' time. We really do.
This has been a presentation by your boys, RJ Pepino and Dave P. with the cream. Cream is cash flow, real estate, and money. And we are all about exchanging value, adding value. Super grateful to have these guys in our network. Brian Higgins and Alex Moses. Hit them up if you're around the OKC, Oklahoma City area. And these are great guys. Thank you so much for your time. You guys hang out just for a minute, and we will see you on the next